Next up, we have the New York Times' Jeff Zeleny, who's been on the road in Paul Ryan's district, as a matter of fact, checking in on that town hall meeting. Jeff, tell us what it was like being up there, and does Paul Ryan have a tough time, even in his own home state, trying to sell his plan?
Well, Congressman Ryan has been really at this ever since he's been in Congress for the last 12 years or so. He is a very wonky member of Congress, so he's almost like the professor who is explaining something to his students, if you will. Now, of course, this is a tougher sell, but he opens every session with telling everyone in the audience, most of whom are senior citizens, because these events are during the day, that you will not be affected by this unless you are 55 or under. So that immediately, most people breathe a sigh of relief on that. But the events that I attended last week, I was surprised that he was given more praise than grief on these sessions, especially given the politics of what's happening in Wisconsin. There's been a very volatile political situation there with local politics and state politics. But I think that as he has more sessions this week, Democrats are trying to organize some opposition. But look, his district is not exactly a good bellwether for this necessarily. He's pretty popular there. He's been elected every term since 1999. His bigger sell is out in the country. And my question is, why isn't he out with other Republicans trying to make this case to people? He is sort of locked into his own district. So I'm not sure that these town halls are that meaningful, from a mega point of view.
That is intriguing when you think about the national profile that he's had. Jeff, I want to talk a little 2012 politics because there's a couple of decisions that are coming up, particular two that I want to talk to you about, Haley Barbour and Mitch Daniels. Any sense, based on your reporting, your reading of tea leaves, where those two men are leaning at this very late stage? It's already the end of April.
Right. I think Governor Barbour is going to make a decision this week. He's been saying for months that he will decide by the end of April. I talked to him about a week or so ago, and he said he's still on that time frame. So he's down in Mississippi this week. I expect him to get into the race and announce that he is going to have an exploratory committee for president. He's been talking to fundraisers around the country for months. He's been talking to party activists. Now, the real question here is he is very close friends with Governor Mitch Daniels from Indiana. And these aren't just political friends. I mean, they are genuine friends. So is he going to get in the race? What does that mean? Does that mean Mitch Daniels is not going to get in? I'm told that not necessarily. These decisions aren't necessarily linked. But Governor Daniels has said that he will make a decision after this week once the Indiana legislature has adjourned, and that is scheduled for Friday. He's scheduled to be in Washington next week for a speech, so we'll see. But I look for Governor Barbour's decision first, and Mitch Daniels really, every time a reporter goes out to interview him, the latest of which was Dan Balls in the Washington Post today, they really aren't able to get a lot out of that or any commitments from him. And now he's sort of saying that, okay, I'm not sure yet, but if I get in, I'll be enthusiastic. I think some Republicans are wanting to see that enthusiasm on the front end, not after the if. So we have to watch Governor Daniels a little bit longer, but you're right, Rick, time is running out.
One more quick thing, Jeff, about this debt ceiling debate. Is the president are we going to see him get a little more engaged here personally than maybe we saw on the budget?
I'm not sure if we are. I think the MO for this president, at least in the second half of his first term, is that he is trying not to be the legislator in chief. Of course, this is a more serious issue, perhaps than some of the other legislation. So I think he'll get involved only if it looks like things are going south a little bit. But the most interesting side of this debate, I believe, is from Republican presidential candidates. You're going to see some divisions in their ranks on what they should do, what they're urging members of Congress to do. So I think this will be the first beginning of the dividing lines on that side that will, be interesting for the next several months to come.
All right, we like those dividing lines. That keeps things interesting. Jeff Zeleny, national political correspondent for the New York Times. Thanks for being here, sir. Appreciate it. Twitter.com/Rick Klein, Twitter.com/Amy E. Walter.
And let it begin.
Let it begin. Let's get some